have been working on the body paragraphs of our essay, and today we're going to actually talk about the conclusion. So I need everybody's eyes up here. Pencils are down. Thank you. Okay, remember, we've been talking a lot this week and last week, the end of last week and this week, about how important it is for us to be using our checklists when we're writing. If your eyes are not up here, your thinking and your hearing and your learning is not up here. So I need you to be paying attention up here. We always need to follow this checklist. And I can't remember who it was I had a conference with yesterday with their writing, but just like the charts in your binder, if you use these charts and these checklists and everything, every time that you write an essay, when it comes to the time when you have to do it on demand, under pressure, with time, okay, you'll be able to see these in your head. You will remember what they look like. Okay, sort of like the way that you know the words to a song. You hear it over and over and over again. You start to sing along with it. You repeat the process over and over and over again, and then you can sing the song. You know all the lyrics. All right? Same with writing. So use all of the tools that you have, and that is really going to help you to bring your writing up a level. Remember, doesn't matter where you're starting. What matters is that, agency, your writing gets better every time. That's what we're working toward. Our writing needs to get better every single time. Okay, before we focus on the conclusion, however, Kendall, up here. Before we focus on the conclusion, however, I do want to read to you a mentor essay that is complete. When we get to the end, I'm reading the conclusion, then we'll be able to use our checklist and talk about each of the pieces of our conclusion. Okay, now you might recognize this because this is the essay that I wrote. All right, we're going to start. It does have a title, Friends Make a Difference, and then begins with the introduction. I will be your missing eye and you will be my wings. This quote from the book Fox by Margaret Wilde emphasizes how dog and magpie work together to survive in the outback. The author develops the theme using figurative language. Eyes are up here, guys. She uses repetition to highlight the theme. The theme is revealed through character development. The theme of this book is friends can help you through difficult times. Lorenzo, eyes up here, please. Then we go into the first body paragraph. First, Margaret Wilde develops the theme using figurative language. For example, she uses color words to express Magpie's emotions. In the beginning of the story, she writes, Magpie drags her body into the shadow of the rocks until she feels herself melting into blackness. Black expresses the intense grief she feels about her burnt wing. Later in the story, Dog is running with Magpie on his back. He races through the scrub, past the stringy barks, past the clumps of yellow box trees, and into blueness. Blue is a lighter, cooler color than black and expresses a lifting of Magpie's emotions as Dog helps her accept her loss. She rejoices. In the end of the story, the desert is red and adrift in heat. Red expresses the fear Magpie feels after being left alone in the desert. Another example of figurative language can be found in the middle of the story. Margaret Wilde makes an unusual choice of words when describing Fox. She writes, at night, his smell seems to fill the cave, a smell of rage and envy and loneliness. This and Fox's haunted eyes gives the reader the impression that Fox is also dealing with a difficult time. Fox, however, does not have a friend to help him through it. Margaret Wilde uses figurative language to develop the idea that friends can help you through difficult times. All right, so now we're going to move into the second body paragraph. Second, Margaret Wilde develops the theme using repetition. Examples of this can be found throughout the middle of the book. Magpie repeatedly says in one form or another, "I am his missing eye and he is my wings." This phrase is repeated 3 times. It highlights how much dog and magpie rely on each other to survive in the outback. Both are physically disabled and depend upon each other for protection. I'm going to wait while everybody brings their eyes back to the screen because your minds have wandered. Injured animals are vulnerable to predators, especially in the wild. Additionally, Margaret Wilde repeats the image of fire throughout the book. In the beginning, she describes the hot ash in the charred forest. The fire has recently ended. In the middle of the book, the image of fire is repeated when the author uses a simile to describe Fox's movement. He flickers through the trees like a tongue of fire. In the end of the story, the image of fire is repeated once again in the hot red desert. Magpie feels herself burning into nothingness. The repeated image of fire seems to occur right before moments when Magpie must make important choices. Margaret Wilde uses repetition to develop the theme that friends can help you through tough times. Okay, so hopefully you're noticing the structure, you're noticing the pattern. Last body paragraph. Finally, the theme is revealed through character development. Magpie changes throughout the story. In the beginning, she rejects Dog's kindness. She is filled with grief over her burnt wing. She doesn't understand why Dog rescued her. She knows she is going to die if she cannot fly away from predators. She drags her body into the shadow of the rocks. She just wants to die. But Dog does not abandon her. He waits. Later, she goes to the riverbank with Dog and sees a strange new creature. This creature is a combination of both dog and magpie. The image suggests that together, they can overcome their disabilities. Magpie can help Dog see, and Dog can help Magpie fly. In the end of the story, Fox has abandoned Magpie in the desert heat. Eyes up here, please. In the end of the story, Fox has abandoned Magpie in the desert heat. This act is in direct contrast to Dog's faithfulness. The event places Magpie in a situation that is an echo of the beginning of the story. Alone in the desert, it would be so easy just to die. But Magpie has changed because of her friendship with Dog. She no longer thinks of just herself. She thinks of Dog waking to find her gone. In contrast to her actions at the beginning of the story, Magpie chooses to make her way back to Dog. Margaret Wilde uses character development to reveal the theme that friends can help you through tough times. Okay, so hopefully you get a chance to see the way that the pattern needs to move when we're talking about the body paragraphs, and you're getting an idea of the flow. Now let's take a look at what your conclusion should look like. If we look at our checklist, the flow of the conclusion has not changed since the very beginning. Okay, and you're going to notice this, that the structure of an essay does not change, just the focus of it, just the topic of it, but you follow the same pattern. It's a pattern that your reader understands. Just like when you go to the movies, you know that you're sitting in the movie theater and they're starting to play something. You know that it's probably not your movie. You know that you're going to see the sneak previews first. Okay, you know that when the lights go down, the feature film is coming on. You know that it will begin by telling you some of the major actors, and you know at the end they're going to give you all of the people that had anything to do with it, even the people that supplied the food. Okay? You know that because you're used to watching movies. You're used to going to the movie theater. Okay? You know what to expect. Your reader expects your writing to go in a certain way. And so you need to, as the author, provide that familiar structure in the writing. Natalie, go ahead and put your pencil down for me, please. All right, so let's take a look. We begin by indenting, transitional phrase, and the thesis statement. Then we're going to write a sentence for each of our main ideas. And then finally, we're going to end with that, with giving our readers something to do or to think about. That call to action is what we call it. The call to action, to do something, to think about something, or to do something. All right, so let's look at the conclusion. We have, in conclusion, the theme of Fox by Margaret Wilde is, friends can help you through difficult times. So everybody look at your checklist. You see it says indent. Then we begin with the transitional phrase. And then we have our thesis statement. You can take that right from your planning sheet. Notice in this case, I am going to state the name, the title, and the author of the book to remind my reader just in case they forgot. When I put my thesis statement in my introduction, I didn't need to do that because I gave the title and the author earlier in the introduction. Okay, again, I'm going to stop. Again, I'm going to ask you to put your eyes up here. Because some of you, even though you have your checklist in your hand, you're looking out the window or across the room. All right, then our checklist says that we should have a full sentence for each of our main ideas. And some of you are still struggling with that. You're hooking them all together with commas. That doesn't make it a sentence. Or you're just putting periods where you would have had commas. And it's still not a sentence. Remember, when you're doing your plan, if you write a complete sentence on your plan, a complete sentence will be in your essay. All right, and then finally we give our reader the call to action, something to do. So let's read the three main idea sentences in our conclusion. Figurative language is used to develop the theme. The theme is highlighted with the use of repetition. A and C, eyes up here. Character development reveals the theme. And so you may notice that, remember we said that at this point in the school year, we're going to try to challenge ourselves to rewrite this differently. To write the sentence differently. So if you look at the introduction, I said the author develops the theme using figurative language. And then in the conclusion, I said, figurative language is used to develop the theme. Said the same thing, said it in a different way. My goal is to keep my writing from sounding robotic. Okay, at this point in the school year, we should be able to challenge ourselves to do that. Okay, and finally, the end, which is the call to action. The next time you find yourself in a tough situation, and guys, everybody finds themselves in a tough situation. Seek the help of a friend. Can you see how that goes with the theme? It could make a difference. Can you see how that goes with my title? Okay, friends make a difference was my title. All right, so now we have seen the way that the essay should flow. And even though you might not be ready to write your conclusion today, when you get ready to write your conclusion, you need to make sure it includes everything on your checklist. We're going to work for the rest of our time together today, writing our essay. So wherever you are at in your essay right now, you are going to continue. All right, go ahead and begin.